नमस्ते प्रणाम गीता ध्यान ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O Goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudevasutam devam kansachanuramardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Vibhuti Yoga 10th Adhyay, and Sri Krishna is telling us about the divine manifestations of the great Lord contained in this entire creation. When Arjuna asked him, how do I know? Where can I meditate upon? The creation is so vast. You tell me, where should I meditate to realize your manifestation in this creation? And Sri Krishna had told him, I am going to tell you, although I cannot tell you each and every place. I cannot tell you each and every place which is manifested by me, because these are innumerable. We cannot count them. But I am going to tell you in details about all the prominent places where you know for sure are dwelt by me. And then Sri Krishna had started, first of all he told that, look, as far as meditation on me in this creation is concerned, know for sure that I am the dwelling soul in all the beings. There is no doubt about that. I am the one who is dwelling in all the living beings, whichever being. And know for sure, wherever there is birth, life and death, whenever there is a beginning, middle and end, ahaṁ adishcha madhyamcha bhutanam anta evacha, wherever there is a process of birth, life and death, I am there. That is the first and foremost point of meditating on the divine manifestation of the Lord in this creation. That is for sure. And then, as promised, Sri Krishna has started enlisting. He is giving a detailed list of these are all the prominent places, these are all the prominent things, these are all the prominent beings, these are all the prominent points where you will find my divine manifestation. Among the Adityas, I am the Vishnu. Among all the illuminating factors, I am the sun. Among all the wind gods, I am the Marichi. And among all the celestial objects, nakshatraṇāṁ, all the planets, I am the moon. That he had indicated. That these are all the salient, prominent places, pradhanyataha. He had told Arjuna, I am going to tell you all the prominent places here where you will know for sure that these places are my manifestations. And he also said that I am the Samaveda among four Vedas, the most musical, the most loving recitation to listen to. Then among the gods, I am the Indra, I am the Vasava. Among minds, among the senses, I am the mind. And among all the living beings, I am the consciousness. even a small tiny insect which is crawling in its own glory, that consciousness, even in that tiny being, know for sure that consciousness is me, that Chetana is me. Then he said about, Krishna also talks about some higher level things, like among the gods and is among the Rudras who make people cry either for material gain or for spiritual gains. I am the Shiva, I am the Shankara, because Shankara makes people cry for Shreyas, not for prayers. It is Shankara who wills the people to get that yearning for the divine vision, for the liberation, for salvation. So Krishna says, among the Rudras, I am Shiva. I am the King Kubera among the Yakshas and Rakshasas, and among the Vasus, I am the fire power. Among all those Ashtavasus, which are controlling this entire creation for that matter, of the earth, water, fire, air, ether, moon, sun, and stars. I am the fire, because the fire keeps burning. That fire kindles the fire of renunciation. That fire kindles the desire for illumination. The fire kindles that desire for salvation, for liberation. That fire I am. And then among the mountains and peaks, I am the Mount Meru, around whom all these celestial objects, they are revolving. They are rotating around this Mount Meru. And allegorically speaking, our spinal cord is the Mount Meru in our physical body. Our spinal cord, it is so powerful, that Sushumna wave, through which the life force actually it travels up and down through all those 6 yogic centers, the Mooladhara, the Swadhisthana, the Manipur, and Anahata, Vishuddha, and Ajna Chakra, and all those. And finally, the ultimate point, from where if the life force goes off, that is the ultimate samadhi, that is the ultimate liberation. It is so, the spinal cord for that matter, is so important for our spiritual growth. And then in the 24th shloka that we read last, Sri Krishna said that among the Purohitas, among all the priests, consider me to be the Bruhaspati, the chief priest. Bruhaspati is the ultimate in terms of the priesthood. Bruhaspati starts all the spiritual sacrifices. Ordinary priests may be performing the other sacrifices, all sacrifices for all those material gains. But when it comes to the spiritual sacrifice, it is the Bruhaspati who has to be that chief priest. And Sri Krishna says, among the priests, I am Bruhaspati. Only Bruhaspati can do such kind of very high, intense sacrifices, which take us on to the spiritual level. And Senānīṇāṁ ahaṁ Skandaha. I am Skanda among the Senanis, among the army generals. Whether it is a human army or any other army or a pack of wolves, they will also have their Senapati, isn't it? But among the army of the lords, among the army of the gods, I am the Skanda. Why? Because Skanda is a general who leads the army of gods over victory to evil, wretchedness, and wrongdoing. So I am the Skanda among all these army generals. And then Sarasamasmi Sagaraha, among all the water bodies, I am that deep, calm, peaceful, and magnanimous ocean. The huge, vast water body. I am not a tiny pond. I am not a tiny rivulet. I am that vast, unending ocean. Just meditate upon that ocean. Meditate upon the waves of that ocean and consider, I am part of that ocean. I am the wave on that ocean. And see how that meditation will lift us up on the spiritual plane. So that was what Sri Krishna had taught us till the 24th shloka in this Vibhuti Yoga. Now in the 25th shloka, what Sri Krishna has to tell? maharṣhīṇāṁ Bhṛiguraham girām asmyekam akṣharam yajñānāṁ japa-yajñosmi sthāvarāṇāṁ Himalaya. Now Sri Krishna blends all these great personalities in terms of sages, in terms of gods, and also the great existing things on this earth. So here he says, Sri Krishna says, maharṣhīṇāṁ Bhṛiguhu ahaṁ. Among all the great sages, among all the great Rishis, maharṣhīṇāṁ, I am the Bhrigu Rishi. Now Bhrigu is considered to be the chief most among all the Rishis in this world. So Sri Krishna says, know for sure that I dwell in Bhrigu. Whenever you think of Bhrigu, think of me. Whenever you think of me, think of Bhrigu among all these Rishis. Then, girām asmyekam akṣharam. Girām is words. Among the words and syllables. Girām. Know for sure, I am the ekam akṣharam. And which is that ekam akṣharam? It is that anahata, pranava, omkara. Om is that ekakṣharam. Among all these alphabets and vowels and things that you have got, that I am ekakṣharam. I am that ek om. That is the ultimate word. That is the ultimate syllable, the monosyllable for that matter. I am that om. You make with the permutations of these alphabets and vowels, you may create so many words. But all these words, they have no significance compared to that monosyllable om. Monosyllable om. We may recite all these other permuted, combinated words for n number of times. Even our mantra, for that matter, is a combination of all these alphabets and vowels. The swara and vyanjana, all these combined together, we have all different types of word formations. But the ultimate among all these thousands of words, the ultimate is the om. Because om is the one derived from that Satchitananda. So, girām asmyekam, girām asmi akṣharam. Yajñānāṁ japa-yajñosmi. Among the yajnas, among the sacrifices, I am the japa yajna. Now, sacrifices, there can be so many sacrifices like Ashwamedha yajna, Rajasuya yajna in the ancient times. Then if we consider today's sacrifices, we give up this, we give up that, for that matter, just for the name's sake. But Sri Krishna says, among all these sacrifices, I am the japa yajna. Why japa yajna? Recitation, constant repetition of the mantra. It not only purifies the mind, purifies the body, it elevates us to a great level on the spiritual plane. The constant repetition of mantra, and Sri Krishna says, nothing, no sacrifice is bigger than the japa yajna. And know for sure that among the yajnas, japa yajna I am. When people keep reciting chanting their mantra, their ishta mantra, their chosen mantra, with which they have been they have got the diksha, mantra diksha from the Guru. Or there can be other mantras also that without taking a mantra diksha, without taking initiation as such, people do repeat mantra, and even those mantras also, they have power. Of course, the mantra which is received from a Guru has a very high spiritual power, for that matter. Any other mantras also people do recite, that also takes them forward, no doubt about it. But a mantra received from a guru, a spiritual guru, is like sitting in a rocket and reaching the moon, reaching the Mars, reaching the other planets. Other mantras can also take us forward, but it will take its own sweet time. And then when we gain mastery over repetition of that mantra, when we gain mastery on that sacrifice as japa yajna, then we start really making strides forward. So Sri Krishna says, among the yajnas, I am the japa yajna. And sthāvarāṇāṁ Himalaya. Among all the immovable objects, non-movable objects on this earth, consider me to be the mightiest of the Himalayas, the highest, the peak point, the mountain, the mighty mountain Himalaya, which has the glory, which has the special glory of being the highest mountain in the world. So Shri Krishna says, these are the 4 prominent places I am again telling you. Maharshi Bhrigu among all the Rishis, Om among all the letters and alphabets and words and whatever combinations you make of the alphabets and the vowels, I am the japa yajna among all the sacrifices, and I am Himalaya among all the immovable objects. So, my dear Arjuna, I am telling you another 4 places where you can meditate upon me, thinking about these 4 prominent places. So that is Sri Krishna's teaching in this 25th Shloka. Among the Rishis born of the mind of Ishvara, Bhrigu is ever the highest, is always in the highest superconscious plane. Bhrigu Rishi cannot come down to the ordinary plane at all, always in that superconscious plane. So the Lord's glory is revealed best through him. He never comes down on the lower plane to have these worldly enjoyments. Unlike other rishis might, once in a while they may come down, they may enjoy, then again they may go up to the higher plane. That is, but Bhrigu Rishi, he is a steadfast rishi in terms of the spiritual practices. He would come down from those planes. Om is the most sacred and sound symbol of Ishvara. Constant utterance in this monosyllable is a sure means to reach divinity. And therefore Sri Krishna says, Om is equivalent to me. Om is equivalent to the eternal Lord. Yajna is the act of Jivatman making himself over to Paramatma. Now, any sacrifice which is done basically is for the realization of Jivatman, that Jivatman, I am the part of Paramatman, and the struggle of Jivatman towards reaching the Paramatma. Now, normally all other sacrifices that are done, they are for the material gains or this gain or that gain, not mainly from the spiritual perspective. Maybe for getting good qualities, maybe for getting some kind of powers, all those things. But it is only the japa yajna, the constant recitation of the divine mantra, that brings the Jivatman, that gives Jivatman a kind of realization of being a part of the Paramatma. And through the japa yajna, the Jivatman, when the soul leaves the body, because of the power of this japa yajna, because of the power of this constant chanting of the mantra, the Jivatman straightway goes to the Paramatman. It merges in the Paramatman, and that is the liberation, that is the moksha, that is the nirvana. Therefore Krishna says that I am the japa yajna among all the yajnas. Constant mental repetition of the Lord's name is japa yajna. It can be performed at any time and in the midst of any other activities. Even when I am talking, maybe unconsciously, if my mind is chanting the mantra, unconsciously maybe, even that is performing the mantra. If I am walking on the road, if I am going in a train, if I am doing any activity, if my mind happens to chant the mantra in the background, that is a japa yajna. And it involves no harm or hindrance to anybody. This japa yajna, Unlike other yajnas, where we may have to give actually animal sacrifices or this sacrifice, that sacrifice, Japa Yajna causes no harm or hindrance to anybody. It doesn't disturb anybody. There is ahimsa for that matter in Japa Yajna. The Lord is present where Japa Yajna takes place. So Sri Krishna says, I am the Japa Yajna among all the yajnas. And the among the plant and the animal kingdoms, the plant kingdom is immovable. What Sri Krishna is talking about, sthāvarāṇāṁ. Sthāvara is immovable, which cannot move, unlike animals. The plants cannot move. They are stationary. They are stationary living beings, and they are growing and thriving and dying ultimately in the same place. Hills and mountains are held as imbued and dormant life. All the mountains who bear these trees. Now, mountains for that matter, hills for that matter, they themselves, they cannot move. But they make these immovable living beings sustain, take birth, sustain and die on their bodies. Like Mother Earth. They are therefore classified with the vegetable kingdom. Now basically sthavara is a non-movable, which is vegetables, the plant kingdom, which is at one place. Now since among the animals and plants, animals are movable, but plants are sthavara. Therefore, the mountains and such natural structures, hills, they are also considered as the supporters of the plant kingdom. And therefore, Krishna says, among the mountains, among such immovable bodies on this earth, which are taking the burden of the immovable plant kingdom, among such mountains, I am the mighty Himalaya, the greatest striking wonder on its beholder. So that is what Krishna has mentioned about the 4 places where we can also meditate upon the great eternal Lord as the places for Lord to dwell in. These are the places which are prominently displayed by the Lord as Lord is dwelling in them. So that was 25th shloka for today's reading of the Vibhuti Yoga, of the Yoga of Divine Manifestations, explaining 4 more focal points, prominent points for us to meditate upon the great eternal Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ram Krishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swami.